See what happens when you do this? The boys are all over us everywhere. So, my name's Bannister. I grew up in Narrabeen. Yeah, I'm 45 years old, so I've been here a very long time. Grew up just over the hill there at Tarameta Beach at Little Narrabeen. Yeah, and started surfing when I was 8 years old. This is our board riding club, North Narrabeen Board Riders. Started in 1964. It's been going for 50 plus years at the moment. I've been in it ever since, so 35 years in the club. Try not to miss a round, so I used to travel heaps, but I'd fly back for this. It's a bit of an institution for us and we're pretty religious about it. I'm a life member. I've won 13 open titles. And I think someone said the other day I got 26 or 7 titles all up in seniors and juniors and masters. So former club president and so I've spent a fair bit of time here. I've sort of worked my way up the pecking order. I'm still below a lot of the older legends, you know, so I've still got a ladder to climb, but slowly working my way up there. And that's how it works in this place. We're a tight bunch of blokes and we're pretty sort of hard on newcomers and that. We look after each other. And we don't sort of, you know, there's not a lot of disrespect for everyone else, but at the same time we sort of command a bit of respect here, you know. We're brought up to do our time and earn our spot in the pecking order and in the ranks, because it's a pretty popular break here and there's not enough waves for everyone and you've got to earn your spot in the break. And once you leave this place or you go to another club, you're never allowed back. So once you're in here. And like I said, this is probably the best break in Sydney, and we don't take that stuff lightly. So yeah, it's definitely an apprenticeship, more or less. It's a deep-seated culture that goes back a long way, and I don't think people understand that till they start undoing the layers of this place, you know. And you'll start running into all these guys, and these guys over there. So we've got an over 60s division still surfing. We've got an old guy, Tom Kersop, who's 87, that still paddles out, and you know, it goes back a long way, this joint. And there's a core bunch of people that sit out here and dominate most of the sets in the best waves, and if anyone comes in on that circle, they'll get warned and told, and then things can escalate from there. Yeah, so there's still a few blow-ups here and there, but probably not as bad as it was 20 years ago. But you've got a pretty hard time as a kid growing up here, you know. So now that we've got to the top and you work your way up there, you don't want to give away what you've earned like that to some guy that's just come along out of the nowhere, you know. So and that's the mentality down here in places like this. So a lot of the new element coming into surfing, they don't understand the old school rules, you know, basically, you know. And when we grew up, it was very localised. Like, you rarely went to another beach to go surfing. You'd hang out most of the time at your own break. And when you went there sort of tail between your legs, you know, because you understand there's a local crew there. They're pretty hardcore. They dominate the break. And when you go there, you need to give respect. And that works anywhere in the world, really, pretty much. Yeah, I can definitely see the changing element in surfing, like even the crowds that come here all the time now. These days, the modern day surfer doesn't really understand that theory, and they want to come and surf and take the best waves everywhere they go. And a lot of them probably get their nose out of joint. There's nothing out on the websites or in the magazines explaining the sort of history behind a lot of places. And even when you go up to Snapper and you go to Burleigh and places like that, there's always that hardcore element underneath that'll dominate the break when the waves are good. And without this sort of underground order and without this pecking order sort of thing, the places like this would descend into chaos, you know, like, and no one would be enjoying themselves anymore, you know. Like, I think it's in places like here and Maroubra and places like that, it's necessary, you know. And I think it's surfers, when they're coming into the sport, have just got to understand that. And if you want to go and enjoy a wave and have a good time and work on your skills, sometimes you might have to go somewhere else. And